Hi guys. Um I've decided it's time to start my podcast. And today I want to talk about stopping smoking weed. Um Specifically as someone who has ADHD and autism like me, or just like being neurodiverse in general and smoking weed. Um, yeah, but also this podcast isn't gonna be like any. I'm not trying to give advice or like say I actually have like any like medical intelligence or like, you know, all I know is I smoked weed for 6 years and I am disabled. And I'm gonna talk about it. So yeah. Um I started smoking weed when I was like 14. I remember I used to smoke weed with my friends in school. I used to literally buy it and then I'd like smoke it and I'd feel so anxious. And I'd literally let everyone else smoke the rest of it because it just made me feel so anxious. And like, and then for some reason I've just continued to smoke it for 6 years, which actually now I've stopped. And like looking at that now, like, did it make me anxious the entire time? And like, have I just been like living in this anxiety and being complacent in it for the past 6 years? And like thinking that that was what my life was like, when realistically, actually, smoking weed did that to me and like is the reason why probably my mental health was actually trash. Um, oh, also, I actually like this is the first time I've ever had to set up a microphone on my own, guys. So please forgive me if this is rubbish. I'm really trying my hardest to do something with my life. Okay. Yeah, I was speaking to one of my friends today, and they're also trying to stop smoking weed. And you know, I think both of us relate on the fact that like we smoke weed because it like helps us deal with being bored. And like I think that's a massive thing for me, especially being someone who has ADHD. Like, thinking about back to when I was little, I've like always been bored. Like always. Like I've always just never been completely satisfied ever. Like I'm just always bored. Or like there's always like something in me is like an itch that I literally cannot scratch. And like that's like so overwhelming and hard to deal with. And so I guess, you know, smoking weed makes you like, well, for me, it's always made me like so complacent with that, and like, oh, I'm just gonna get stoned because it does actually make me feel like absolutely fine. With being bored, you know, it makes me feel like fine, the fact that I'm just sat doing nothing. Although even now I've stopped smoking and I am only on day 5 of stopping smoking weed, I've realised that I'm allowed to do nothing anyway, and that I need to do nothing to actually function as a human being in times where I want to do something. And yeah, I have stopped smoking weed for 5 days now. However, this isn't the first time that I've tried stopping smoking weed. I think the first time I tried stopping smoking weed was about 3 years ago. It was in my first year of uni. And I was just like, this is it. Like, I'm stopping. And, but I just drank every single day. Like, I just started drinking every day. And, like, that's just not helpful. If anything, it's just so much worse. Like, it is just so much worse. And it made me feel horrible to the point where I ended up starting smoking weed again, because for me that felt like the better option of the two. Like, I don't know, destroying my liver or like having a few cheeky spliffs, but they're both so bad. Like, and I guess maybe I'm envious of people who can do both of them things in moderation, but for me, I just can't do that. I'm going for it, but I can't. But every day I get a bit older, it gets a bit easier and stuff. That's good, but like, I have nothing to say about this, but I have so much to say about it. I don't know. Stopping smoking weed's so hard as well when you literally have, like, for me, it's so normalised. Like, every single person around me smokes weed, and like, and I just meet so many people who smoke weed. I literally walk through the streets anywhere in the UK, well, where I've been, which is like Manchester and like my little town, and it just stinks of weed everywhere, and like, it's just unavoidable. It feels like it's literally like embedded in society, especially nowadays for young people. So is drinking and doing coke. All of these things are just so trash, especially for someone, well, for me, having ADHD and just like feeling bored all the time, and it just gives me a reason. And it's such like, it's so easy to do these things to make myself feel occupied. And like, now stopping, I'm like, this is it. Like, I have to sit with the like rawness of my situation and just be bored and like suffer it. Like, I just actually need to like suffer through it. Like today, literally before I just came home, I was like, I want to go for a beer. Like, I've got my fun outfit on, I want to go for a beer. But why? Like, why? Because I have nothing else to do at all. Like, nothing else. And you know what? I've been wanting to do this podcast for ages. Like, I love speaking on my close friends, and you know, it's mint. But I yap on my close friend, like, do something about it. Like, actually just like make a little video about it, even if it's just waffle. All I do is waffle. And like, you know, we're sat here together. I've got a cup of tea. Have you got a cup of tea? Or a beer? Maybe a spliff. Put that down. Yeah, it's great, but it's just like trash, isn't it? Clearly I haven't nailed down my opinion on it yet. I have like so many like things that I want to do, and it's just like constant. Like, oh, I want to do this shoot, like I want to do this painting, or like I want to do a painting, but I don't know what of. I want to make sculptures, I want to make a film, I want to do a podcast, I want to write a book, I want to write a play. Like, and all I do is smoke weed. And like, I don't know, I've tried to stop so many times, and every time I'm like, this is the one, I'm absolutely stopping this time. But like, I'm gonna say it again, this is the one. It's like when you're like, I'm never drinking again. Although this is a lot more serious, and I guess I've had like so much more time thinking about it and like how important it is in my life. And you know what? I feel so much better for like not smoking weed. And a big thing for me is that like I actually feel so annoying as a person, and like, but I only realise that kind of when I've smoked, and I get like really in my own head, and I'm like, oh, I'm like the most annoying person ever. Why did I say that? And like, why was I acting like that? And but is that just me being like anxious, and like because I've smoked weed, and not because like, wait, oh my god, I lost my train of thought. What? Who is dinging me on Messenger right now, guys? I'm trying to make a podcast. This is gonna be like the worst trail of thought thing you've ever listened to. My deepest apologies. Try living in my brain. Um, I don't know what I was gonna say. I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, how do you guys do this? It's really hard. um. Oh yeah. Okay. So I feel like, yeah, smoking weed then makes me realize, like, oh, I just get in my own head, like, oh, why was I being like that? Like, why am I doing that? Like, why did I ever act like that? And like especially after I've had like a meltdown, and like say I've like chucked stuff all over my room, like thrown fucking paint everywhere, like just, um then I'll like have a spliff to calm myself down, and the like self hatred and guilt that follows once you've had that spliff after them situations is like the most consuming thing ever. But it's ridiculous. Like, I shouldn't feel like that, you know? And maybe, I mean, I don't know. Obviously feeling guilty is a normal feeling, but like I shouldn't feel guilty for having a meltdown, and I also don't know if I would feel guilty if I hadn't smoked weed to deal with it, you know? And like now is the time where it's like actually like, I don't know, I need to sit and face my own mental health, which is just weird. Like, how do you even do that? How do you even begin to do that? Like, I don't know. Like, how do I, like, I feel like I should be like journaling. Like, how do you journal with purpose? Like, my journal's literally like, morning guys, went cycling, and then it's like, I fucking hate that bitch. And I feel like that's not even useful. Like, I was speaking to one of my friends the other day, and they were saying how they literally like pray for their friends, and they like send out like good intentions for their friends, wishing good things upon them, and like that for themselves as well. And it made me like cry. I thought I don't do that at all. Like I don't ever like set I don't ever like say like positive things in my head, or like I don't think I live with like, I don't know, yeah, I just don't think I'm a very positive person, especially towards myself. But I don't think am I a negative person? I don't know, but I definitely know that when I don't smoke weed, I am actually a more positive person. And actually, when I'm smoking weed, I have meltdowns like every day. And the past 5 days, when I've not been smoking, and I've noticed this past times when I've stopped smoking, when it's gone like, longer periods of time, that actually, like, when I've got through like the rut of first stopping, where you feel just like, I hate everyone. Well, that's how I feel anyway. If you don't feel like that, then that's great for you. I'm jealous. But like, I didn't wake up and have a meltdown this morning, and I didn't yesterday either. And like, when I am smoking weed, I do have meltdowns every morning. And like, I feel like that is genuinely just the fact that I am addicted to smoking weed, and it's my body being like, I need a spliff. And like, once I've got through a few days of not being on it, then it's like, I don't have that, like, and if I am having a meltdown, that's then something that is aside from that, and that now I'm now gonna have to learn how to deal with it. And I am getting better, and I have in the past years, like, oh, I used to go into mental health appointments, and they'd be like in school when you go to like cams, and they're like, go on a walk, do breathing exercises, and you're like, shut up, help me. But actually, like, I hate to admit it, but it does help. And obviously that isn't the only thing that helps, and they absolutely should be giving people more help than that. But like, it is a start, and it is something. It's not a start, that's like terribly worded. It's helpful, even if it's not the best help ever. they undeniably, for me, do help. 478 is actually brilliant, and like, when I'm having a meltdown, I hate to admit that that's gonna help me, but when it has helped me, I'm like, yeah, it did help. Maybe I should do that every time. And then I'll have a meltdown again and I'll try fight doing it. But it does help, and every single meltdown I'm having, and I'm replacing having a spliff with these breathing exercises, it's getting easier and easier, and it's only hopefully ever going to get easier and be a new coping mechanism, I hope. It's so hard. And I feel like there is just like, I just like don't know what people do with their lives, especially after I don't know, do you know what, actually, like, I feel like I struggle so much to like keep a hobby, and I actually feel like I don't have anything that I'm like massively interested in, and I think I long for that, and I think that's a part of my autism, is like the fact that I really, really want to like have something that I really know about and like care about and like I'm completely sucked into, and that happens in small periods. Like when I started climbing, oh my god, like that was such a good fixation, and then it ends and then I feel lost again and I want to be fixated on something and I can't, and like, but that's just what I'm like, and I can't smoke weed to fight through that. And I don't know how to get through this yet, because we're only on day 5 of this groundbreaking discovery of mine. So, maybe I'll come back and do another podcast in a few weeks. Maybe I might have more answers, or maybe I'll be smoking it again. But I hope not. And another thing that's been helping my life at the moment is just going biking. I just get on my bike and it just gets like all my rage out. I just like razz it down 20 miles on my bike, and then sometimes I finish that though and I still feel bored. It's like no matter how much I try and tire myself out, I still feel bored. It's not. No, it is like I'm bored and I could make art, but then it's like I can't be bothered. But no more. I will not replace this with a spliff anymore, because it's horrible. And I think my jacket potato is ready now. So, goodbye.